Well, here we go, another Atheist Sunday School. This one is the Epistles. Lesson 1, Paul's Epistle to the Romans. Sorry, I like the word epistle. Epistle. Paul's Epistle to the Romans. The book of Romans. You can go to King James Bible Online.org, you know. Introduction. When asked what is the best news you've ever heard, each individual might give a different answer. Every Christian, however, knows that the greatest news of all is the gospel. The importance cannot be emphasized enough that the best news in the world is the news of Jesus' death, burial, resurrection, and his willingness to save sinners. Excuse me, sorry about that. General facts about the book of Romans that every person should know. 1. The writer is the Apostle Paul. No evidence, but that's what they say. This is the same person whose life is recorded in the book of Acts, who wrote much of the New Testament. B. Although most likely written from Corinth, Paul did so because he was soon to visit Rome. He wanted to announce his coming and also alert the Roman people as to what he was going to preach to them and what he believed. He wrote concerning the great doctrines of the Bible. He also wrote to them to let them know that the gospel is not only for the Jews, but also to the Gentiles. This, of course, was because Rome was a Gentile city, though there were some Jews who lived there. See, the key verse to Romans is Romans 1:16. This verse should be committed to memory. This epistle was the 6th in the chronological order of Paul's epistles. Romans is divided into 2 great divisions, chapters 1 through 11 and chapters 12 through 16. After the pivotal verse in Romans is Romans 12:1. This is a connecting verse between these 2 great divisions. The first division tells of the great doctrines of the Christian faith. The second division tells us how we ought to live because of these doctrines. In other words, the second division gives a practical outworking of these doctrines. To the first great division, Romans 1 through 12. A. The depravity of man is found in Romans 1:1 through Romans 3:20. Man's original condition before God is depraved, meaning lost and sinful. Chapter 1 deals with the degradation of man and the progression of man going deeper and deeper into sin. This reveals the condition of man, especially found in verses 21 to 32. Notice the progression in these verses. First they knew of the true God, but did not glorify him. Then because of this, they became vain in their imagination and their foolish hearts were darkened. Basically, you sinners out there, you atheists out there, you know God exists. You know he exists. You just don't want to accept him because you love your sin. When a man refuses to follow God, then he himself becomes wise in his own eyes. It's found in verse 22. I think most of us have found that these religious folk become wise in their own eyes. They think they have the audacity to tell scientists about science when they know nothing about science. And they'll point out, well, we have this guy who has a PhD in molecular biology or biochemistry or physics, but he doesn't have anything published in peer-reviewed journals or maybe a couple articles. So, because he says it's not right, then it ain't right. Too bad science don't work like that, because you got to pass peer review, and science is not authoritarian like religion and that social justice warrior crap. Who cares what one scientist says if he can't prove it? Nobody cares what he says or she says unless they can prove it. When a man refuses to follow God, then he himself becomes wise in his own eyes. As found in verse 22, and he becomes a fool. This is the process of education without God. Once a man refuses God, he tries to create his own God and becomes wise in his own mind because he has rejected the God of the Bible. Sorry. This is funny, and then sad was a video I was watching earlier today by Sargon of AKKAD. No, Sargon of AKKAD. It's just some video about these social justice warriors, some of these professors, with their teaching. Oh yeah, it's basically professors teaching racism, white hate. It was just hilarious because this professor's, talking about white power, white supremacy, and talking as if all white people believe this crap. these professors, they're just like these preachers. They don't know nothing. They're just selling their ideas. They can't back it up. It's not peer review, actual peer review. Now, they may tell their colleagues that already believe their crap, but science is different. Science don't work like that. Your colleagues are not going to kiss your ass and say, yeah, we're going to believe this because we like you. Science don't work like that. You need to really look up how science works, peer review and all this stuff. It can be brutal. These other professors, you know, in those type of social justice warrior classes like women's studies and all that stuff, this is all opinions. It's just their opinions. Just like religion. Religion is their interpretation. The next step is in verse 23. Idolatry is a result of wisdom of man, not ignorance of man. When a man leaves God out of his wisdom, then his own wisdom is all that is left. Idolatry always brings lewdness, sensuality, etc. As verse 24 shows, man goes into sensual living because he has left the true God. Then as verse 25 shows us, the next step is where man begins to serve the creature more than the Creator. This is humanism. This is why we are not surprised that theologians come out with God is dead, etc., because man has left the true God. And the only sense of morality, he then goes into all kinds of vile sin. As found in verses 26 to 32. Chapter 3 would be good to show children the depravity of man, as found in Romans 3, 9 through 20. B. Justification is found in Romans 3:21 through Romans 5:11. Since Paul has established man's condition before God as depraved and man's inability to save himself, he turns to the great doctrine of how a man can be saved and justified in the sight of God. He explains in Romans 3:28 that this is not by the law, and in Romans 4 verse 5 that this is not by works. Justification is a righteous declaration by a holy God, declaring the sinner as righteous as Jesus Christ and Jesus as sinful as the sinner. This is not done the moment a person puts faith in Jesus Christ. And I agree, you should really read the book of Romans, especially those that always say, well, aren't Christians under the law? Well, I hate to tell you, Christians are not under the law. Romans chapter 5, and I believe Romans chapter 9, makes that pretty freaking clear. Sanctification is found in Romans 5:12 to Romans 7:25. Sanctification comes from the word which means to set apart, or to be set apart. When a person is justified, then he needs to grow in grace. Now you may ask, okay, before I go on, okay, they're not under the law. That's true. But remember in Romans chapter 1, verse 21, it says they do deeds worthy of death. So basically, true, Christians are not under the law. Don't stone your children and put to death for going to church on Sabbath, which is Saturday, not Sunday, for working on the Sabbath, things like that. However, remember, Romans 1:23 says worthy of death. And then it makes it pretty clear, sin and death will be cast into hell in the book of Revelations. And not to mention the fact that Jesus over and 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 over again mentioned hell and burning and suffering and all this stuff. And Paul mentions it a little bit too. So it's not any better, okay? You stone your kids and all this crap. The New Testament is worse than the Old Testament. And you read the book of Revelation, more people will get slaughtered. I mean, come on. Yeah, they're not under the law. They're under something far worse. If it were true. Luckily it's not, but you know what I'm saying. Sanctification has three main aspects. I have been sanctified. I have been sanctified. I am being sanctified. I shall be sanctified. I have been sanctified means that as far as the Christian's soul is concerned, he has been saved and completely set apart unto God. And in the sight of God, he is righteous. I am being sanctified means that as far as the Christian's life is concerned, he is growing in grace and becoming more set apart every day. I shall be sanctified means that the Christian's body someday will be like his, and he shall be completely holy, even as Jesus is holy. The one that's too long. The key verses are Romans 7:22 to 25. This tells of the constant war going on in heaven. Going on between the spirit and the flesh. The battle is constantly raging, and the Christians constantly growing in the grace. The Holy Spirit can be seen in Romans 8, and the second great division, Romans. Israel is converted. Israel is covered in Romans chapter 9 through 11. Then the second great division, Romans 12 through 16. Romans 12 through 16 deals with the practical side of the Christian life. Because at one time the Christian was depraved, has been justified, is being justified, and has the Holy Spirit with him now. Therefore he should present his body a living sacrifice. In Romans 12:1, the word beseech means beg, presents means yield, and sacrifice means that God does not want a dead sacrifice, but a living sacrifice. He wants the Christian. In verse 2, the word conformed means fashion, just like the fashioning of a dress upon a model. I like to see a model wear a dress if she wasn't like a stick figure. The word transformed means transfigured. It's the same word that's used in transfiguration of Christ. The word prove means to know for sure. Romans 13 deals basically with the Christian's relationship to government and higher powers. Christians should be better citizens. Even if you live in like Iran or North Korea type of government, you should still worship your government and follow your government. Whether Trump, was president, you follow him. When Obama was president, you're supposed to respect him. Oops, you Christians didn't do that, did you? I wasn't an Obama fan either, and I'm not a Trump fan, but I thought it was funny the way Christians were with Obama. Romans 13 and 14. And if you did go to church when Obama was president, especially a Baptist church, oh man, they had things to say about that Obama guy. Romans 14 and 15 deal with the doubtful things and what a Christian should and should not do. It deals with the Christian's relationship with habits, like a rabbit. Romans 16 includes Paul's greeting to some people and the mentioning of people who are a help, a blessing, and a friend to him and to the work. Conclusion, Romans teaches not only what a Christian should believe, but also what is already done for him. So many people are concerned about the living and knowing of the Christian life, but living right should be because the Christian knows right and believes right. It is important to know the great doctrines of grace. It is equally as important that the Christian lets them change him and make him what he ought to be. Again, this was the Epistles, lesson 1. Paul's epistle to the Romans. Bye-bye. Too long.